The attack now when the XPCT Earth was quiet on the day everything changed. Blue oceans moved calmly under white clouds. Cities were busy with normal human life. People worked, laughed, and planned for tomorrow. No one was watching the stars with fear. Humans believed space was dangerous but distant. They had explorers and satellites, but no great enemies. Earth was not part of any galactic alliance. It was just a small world on the edge of known space, ignored by stronger and older civilizations. In the high orbit above Earth, warning systems stayed silent. No alarms rang, no red lights flashed. Then space itself seemed to bend. Massive shapes appeared without sound. An alien fleet arrived in perfect formation. The ships were huge and cold. Their metal bodies blocked the sunlight. Human sensors struggled to understand them. By the time Earth detected the fleet, it was already too late. The first strike came without a message. Energy beams hit communication satellites first. One by one, they burned and fell. Earth lost its eyes and ears in space. Then the cities were targeted. Power grids failed. Skies turned red. In New York, people looked up in fear. In Tokyo, alarms screamed too late. In Karachi, buildings shook like paper. No army was ready for this kind of war. No shield could stop the fire from the sky. Human defenses fought back with everything they had. Fighter jets rose, missiles launched, but alien shields absorbed the attacks easily. Human weapons looked weak and slow. The gap in power was clear. Millions died in the first hour. Hospitals overflowed. Roads collapsed. Families were lost in smoke and fire. The attack was fast and cruel, and it had no reason. In underground bunkers, leaders gathered in shock. Screens showed burning cities and falling ships. No alien signal was received. No demand, no explanation, only destruction. A human general watched in silence. His face showed no fear, only focus. He knew this was not a raid. This was a message. Someone wanted Earth broken. Across the planet, humans felt the same emotion. Not panic, not surrender. Something deeper began to rise. Anger mixed with clarity, a cold understanding. The alien fleet finished its attack and pulled back. They did not stay to occupy Earth. They believed the lesson was enough. Earth was wounded and bleeding. Surely humans would never rise again. But as fires burned, humans did not kneel. Rescue teams moved into ruins. Soldiers protected civilians. Scientists gathered data from every strike. Every loss became a lesson. In the silence after the attack, Earth changed. The world mourned its dead, but it also remembered every ship shape, every weapon pattern. Nothing was forgotten. Far away, the alien fleet sent its report. Earth was marked as weak. The mission was declared successful. The galaxy moved on, confident the problem was solved. They did not know what they had awakened. They did not understand human nature. Earth was not planning revenge yet. It was learning. And the first rule it learned was simple. The attack no one expected had failed, because humanity survived. And survival was only the beginning. The silent anger of EARTH, the days after the attack, were filled with smoke and silence. Cities stood broken. Streets were covered with ash. The world moved slowly, heavy with loss. But Earth was still alive. Humans buried their dead without speeches. There were no loud promises, no cries for revenge. Grief sat deep in every heart. And under that grief, something else began to grow. Governments stopped arguing. Borders stopped mattering. For the first time in history, Earth spoke with one voice. Survival was the only goal. Military leaders met with scientists. Engineers worked beside soldiers. Old rules were removed. Every idea was tested. Every failure was studied. Human technology began to change fast. Wreckage from destroyed satellites was collected. Alien energy patterns were analyzed. Human minds learned quickly, much faster than the attackers expected. The human general who watched the attack now led the response. He did not shout or threaten. He listened. He asked one question again and again. How did they do this? Underground labs worked day and night. New metals were formed. New engines were designed. Human ships became faster, stronger, smarter. Each design improved the last one. The anger of Earth was quiet. There were no victory songs, no public celebrations, only preparation, only focus. Far from Earth, the galaxy continued its business. Trade routes stayed open. Wars ended and began as usual. The attack on Earth was already old news, just another weak world removed from the future. The Galactic Council did not watch Earth anymore. They believed humans were finished, A species hit once and left to bleed. That was the normal pattern. They did not check again. Back on Earth, humans checked everything. Every system was tested under stress. Weapons were redesigned after each simulation. Shields learned from every hit. Human technology started to adapt. The general stood before the world leaders once more. His words were calm and simple. "We will not rush," he said. "We will not beg. We will not forget." Human fleets were not launched yet. Instead, probes were sent quietly. They mapped alien paths. They listened to alien signals. They learned the language of their enemies. Every human knew the truth now. Space was not empty, and peace was not free. Earth had been noticed, and Earth had survived. Children were taught history differently. Not stories of heroes, but lessons of loss. They learned what happens when you are unprepared. They learned why strength matters. Months passed, then years. Earth healed on the surface. But under that surface, steel was growing. A weapon shaped by patience. One day, deep space sensors detected movement again. Not an attack, just distant alien traffic. Normal for the galaxy, but not for Earth. The general watched the data in silence. His officers waited for orders. He finally spoke. "They think we are still afraid." Earth was no longer afraid. Fear had burned away with the cities. What remained was control, understanding, and a promise written into every human system. The next time the galaxy noticed Earth, it would not be as a victim. It would be as a warning. And the silent anger of Earth continued to grow. The council that laughed far beyond human space. The Galactic Council gathered as it always did. The council chamber was vast and bright, built to show power and age. Dozens of alien races filled the seats, each one believing they ruled the future. Holograms floated in the air, trade numbers, border disputes, minor wars. Earth was not on the main list. To the council, humanity was already finished. One council member finally mentioned Earth. The human world was struck, it said calmly. The operation was clean and successful. Another voice replied with boredom. "They will not recover." Laughter moved through the chamber. Some aliens joked about weak species. Others spoke about using Earth resources later. No one showed concern. No one showed doubt. Then the sensors changed. A warning symbol appeared on the main display. An officer froze and checked again. Something was entering the system. Something large. The council paused as space bent once more, just like it had above Earth. But this time, it happened above the council world. Human ships appeared in silence, dozens of them, dark and sharp. Confusion spread through the chamber. How did they get here? One alien demanded. They should not have this range. They should not have this technology. The officers scrambled for answers. The council ordered shields raised. Defense fleets moved into position. Some members still laughed, calling it a desperate move. A final act of a dying species. Then the first human signal arrived. Clear, calm, and translated perfectly. No threats, no shouting. Only a request to speak. The council allowed it. Curiosity replaced caution. A human figure appeared as a hologram. A general in simple uniform, standing straight and silent. He waited until the chamber was quiet. Then he spoke. "You struck our world." His voice did not shake. "Now we are coming for yours." The council burst into laughter again. Some mocked his words. Others called it empty pride. One council leader leaned forward. "You are outnumbered," it said. The human general did not argue. He did not threaten. He only raised one hand. Behind him, human ships moved, slow, controlled, ready. The council suddenly realized something was wrong. Human ships were not charging weapons wildly. They were adjusting, scanning, learning. Council defenses fired first. Bright energy filled space. But human ships shifted formation. Shields changed frequency. The attacks lost power. Silence fell in the chamber. Laughter stopped. Confidence cracked. The council watched in shock. As human technology responded in real time, the general spoke again. "You believed one strike was enough. You believed fear would end us. You were wrong. Human weapons powered up, not in rage, but with purpose. Targets locked across the system. Every move calculated. The council world had never felt fear before. Now it felt it clearly, cold and sharp. For the first time, the council understood they had misjudged humanity. Emergency messages were sent across the galaxy. Defense fleets were recalled. But it was already too late. The humans had arrived, and they were not here to talk. As the council chamber shook, the human general gave one final message. "This is not revenge. This is response." The council that once laughed now listened in silence, because they finally saw the truth. Humanity was no longer a weak world. It was a force that learned from pain, and it had come prepared. Why humans are FAR, IDF, first human strike did not destroy a planet. It destroyed confidence. Alien defense fleets moved as they always had, following old patterns and trusted rules. Humans did not follow those rules. Human ships attacked in waves that changed shape. They did not repeat tactics. Every movement was a test. Every reaction was studied. The battlefield became a classroom. Alien weapons hit human shields and failed the second time. Frequencies changed. Angles shifted. Human systems learned from every impact. Adaptation happened in moments. Council fleets began to fall apart, not because humans had more ships, but because humans understood timing. They waited, then struck where it mattered most. Command centers went dark. Supply lines vanished. Communication networks collapsed. Alien fleets fought blind and confused, while human ships moved with calm precision. The galaxy watched in shock. Reports spread fast. Human ships could not be predicted. They adjusted mid-battle. They refused to break. Some alien commanders tried to retreat. Humans allowed it, not out of mercy, but to send a message. Fear travels faster than light. The Galactic Council attempted emergency talks. They spoke of mistakes and misunderstandings. Humans did not answer immediately. Silence became a weapon. It hurt more than threats. On Earth, civilians watched distant battles on screens. There was no cheering, only focus. They understood the cost of this war, and why it could not be half-fought. The human general stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching data flow like rain. He knew humans were being studied now. Every move would shape the future. Every decision would be remembered. Alien technology that once seemed advanced, now failed. It was rigid, built for control, not for change. Humans were different. They had grown on a dangerous world, with storms, disease, and constant conflict. Adaptation was not a choice, it was survival, and survival had shaped their minds. One by one, council member worlds fell silent, not destroyed, disabled, left powerless and afraid, alive to remember the lesson. The galaxy began to whisper a new truth. Humans do not fight like others. They observe, they learn, then they overcome. Old empires sent warnings to their borders. Young species hid in fear. Trade routes shifted away from human space. Earth became a name spoken carefully, with respect and caution. The council world itself stood exposed. Defenses broken. Fleets scattered. Leaders trapped in their chamber, waiting for judgment. The human general prepared his final move. Not a weapon, not an order to destroy, but a message. One that would define humanity forever. This was why humans were feared, not because they loved war, but because once pushed, they adapted, and they never forgot. The warning to the GalaxyGirlsHFY, the Galactic Council chamber, was silent. The same room that once echoed with laughter now felt small and afraid. Screens showed broken fleets and dark systems. Every council member understood the truth. They had lost control. Human ships surrounded the council world. They did not fire, they did not rush, they waited. That waiting was worse than any attack. The human general entered the chamber in person, not as a hologram, not behind shields, just a man in a simple uniform. Guards watched him closely, but he showed no fear. He looked at the council members one by one, old species, powerful empires, beings who had ruled for thousands of years, now sitting in silence, waiting for a human to speak. You expected us to beg, the general said. You expected us to disappear. You believed one strike would end us. His voice stayed calm, but every word carried weight. We are not here to destroy you, he continued. That surprised them. Some council members lifted their heads. Hope slowly returned to their eyes, but it did not last. We are here to correct you, the general said. You attacked a world without warning. You killed millions without reason. You called it order. For us, it was a lesson. The council tried to speak. They offered apologies. They offered resources. They offered alliance. Humans listened. Then the general raised his hand. The room fell silent again. Earth does not want your empire, he said. We do not want your council seats. We want something simpler. Never strike our world again. Never test our patience. Never forget what adaptation looks like. Outside the chamber, human ships moved, not closer, but farther away. A sign that the war was ending, on human terms. The council world was spared. So were their planets. No cities were burned, no species erased. That mercy confused the galaxy. The general gave the final command. All human systems transmitted one message, across every known channel, across every border, across the entire galaxy. Earth is not weak. Earth is not yours. If you come in peace, we will speak. If you come in war, we will adapt. The message ended. Human fleets turned back toward their stars. No victory parade, no celebration, just silence. Back on Earth, people watched the fleets return. They remembered the cities they lost, the families that never came home. They knew this peace was paid for, with blood and patience. The world slowly rebuilt again, stronger than before, smarter than before. No longer blind to the galaxy, no longer alone, across space. Empires changed their plans, borders were redrawn, attack doctrines were rewritten. One rule became law everywhere: do not strike Earth. The Galactic Council still existed, but it was no longer arrogant. Every meeting began with the same reminder, a simple human truth: learn before you attack. And so the galaxy learned its final lesson. Humanity did not seek to rule, it sought to survive. But when survival was threatened, it became something unstoppable. Earth returned to the edge of space, quiet, watching, learning, ready. The warning to the galaxy, the Galactic Council chamber was silent. Once filled with laughter and pride, now it felt small and fragile. Council leaders stood surrounded by human forces, alive, but powerless. Human ships held position around the Council world. Weapons were ready, but none fired. The waiting was intentional. It forced the Council to think. The human general entered the chamber, not as a conqueror, but as a witness. He looked at the leaders who had ordered Earth attacked. His face showed no anger. "You expected us to break," he said calmly. "You believed one strike would end our story." He paused, letting the words settle. But humans do not end that way. The Council tried to speak. They offered apologies. They spoke of fear and balance, of protecting the galaxy. The general listened without reaction. "We understand fear," he replied. "We lived with it while our cities burned. But fear does not excuse murder. Human forces did not destroy the Council world. They shut down its defenses completely. They exposed its weakness to the galaxy. A symbol was broken. Power was removed. A broadcast was sent across known space. Every major world received it. The human general spoke clearly, slow and simple, so no one could misunderstand. "We are not here to rule. We are not here to erase you. We are here to warn you." He explained what Earth had learned. That survival creates strength. That pain creates progress. And that humanity had paid the price, in blood and fire. "Earth is not open for conquest," he said. "Human space is not a target. If you come in peace, we will answer in peace. If you come in violence, we will adapt." The message ended without threats, without celebration, without pride. It was honest, and it terrified the galaxy for the first time. The Council was no longer the center. Earth had not taken its place, but the balance had changed forever. Part 6: The Legacy of Earth. Years passed after the war. The galaxy slowly adjusted. Borders were redrawn. Old powers weakened. New caution ruled space. Earth did not expand aggressively. Human fleets returned home. Shipyards slowed production. Weapons were stored, but never forgotten. Trade began again. Carefully, alien envoys arrived on Earth. Their tone respectful, their words chosen with care. Humans listened. They remembered the attack. They remembered the silence before it, and they made one rule clear: Earth would never be unprepared again. Children learned about the war in schools, not as a story of glory, but as a lesson. Strength exists to protect life, not to dominate it. Dr. Elias Moore watched the stars from Earth. The bite that changed him had started everything. Humanity had adapted, just as he had. Together, the Galactic Council still existed, but it no longer ruled without question. Earth had proven a simple truth: power without understanding leads to ruin, and survival favors those who learn. Across the galaxy, the phrase spread quietly: never strike a human world, not because humans seek war, but because once tested, they change. Earth remained where it always had been, a blue world under white clouds, peaceful on the surface, strong beneath, watching the stars. The attack no one expected had failed. The warning no one could ignore had been delivered, and the legacy of Earth was written into galactic history. Humanity had survived, humanity had adapted, and the galaxy would never forget.